A wise professor once asked his students a question. He lifted a glass filled with water and he asked all the students, "Students, tell me what would happen if I continue to hold this glass for the next 10 minutes?" And the student said, "Well, nothing special would happen." And then he said, "What would happen if I continue to hold the glass for the next couple of hours?" And then the student said, "Maybe it will cause some pain in your hand." And then he asked, "What would happen if I hold the glass for an entire day?" And then the students responded, "Well, in that case, it might cause you excruciating pain because you're holding on to the glass for an entire day." And then the professor remarked, "The same holds true with the stress that you face in your life. If you hold that stress only for a few minutes, it may not cause severe problems. If you hold it for a few hours, then maybe it will start causing some pain to you. But if you hold on to the stress for an entire day or for a longer duration, then it will have some serious repercussions on both your mind and your body." Which brings us to an important area of concern in our modern day lives, and that is to counter stress. Well, we all know that stress is a part and parcel of our life, but seldom are we taught how to manage it, how to deal with it, and perhaps how to defeat it. Now, let us be all clear about it that stress is a reality and it's going to stay there. So, I'm not saying that all stress is bad. In fact, research has shown us that some amount of stress in our lives is actually good for us. And there is a term used for it. It's called eustress, which means some amount of stress will make you become more alert, will allow you to be more productive and use your energies in an optimal fashion. So you need some stress to keep yourself motivated. But consistent stress, overwhelming stress, can actually have negative consequences on us. So let us try and understand what could we do about it. So there are 5 strategies that you could use in order to counter stress that you face in your day-to-day life. Here they are. So let me first list out what these strategies are. The 5 strategies are: avoid, alter, adapt, accept, and active. Let me explain each one of them to you with examples. The first one is called avoid. Now, you got to ask yourself, what is it that is causing stress in my life? And once you identify that, ask yourself, is this avoidable? If it is, perhaps you have an opportunity there to completely avoid stress in your life. Now, this could mean that, for instance, when you go to social media platforms and you experience that every time I visit social media platforms, I end up experiencing some amount of stress. And there could be reasons for it. I look at other people being more successful than me. I feel that others are more happier than me, and that might cause stress. So can I avoid social media, especially during moments in my life where I'm facing a lot of stress? So whatever can be avoided, which is causing stress, to be left out. Now, that's easier said than done, but it comes with practice. But the important thing is to have the courage to identify it, and even greater courage to execute and avoid what is causing stress. But that's not sufficient. Sometimes you got to do something else. It's called alter. What is alter? Alter basically means to change the situation that is causing you stress. Let's say, for instance, at the workplace, you experience a lot of stress because of the amount of work that has been assigned to you, and you're unable to say no to the amount of work of others that has been done upon you. So in that case, perhaps you need to have an open conversation with your manager or perhaps with your colleagues and see if you can redistribute some of that work to other people as well, so that you don't feel overwhelmed. Which means that if you can change something about the situation, you've got to take proactive measures to alter the situation, to change the situation. And remember, that requires you to have an open mind and ask yourself, what is it that I can do in this given situation? Number 3 is to adapt. The word adapt basically means adjusting. So what are you adjusting here? You're adjusting your expectations from a particular situation or from the people around you, or for that matter, you're adjusting expectations from yourself. Let me give you an example. We live in a world where hustle culture has become the norm of the day. So unless you work for 16 to 18 hours a day, you don't feel that you've done something truly remarkable. Now, nothing wrong about that. It's okay to hustle, but it's even more important to take necessary breaks and readjust your schedule so that you're able to adapt to any given situation. Sometimes the expectations that we have from our own self can cause a lot of stress because I believe that I need to give it my best. And therefore, I go all out to do everything possible to make things happen. Or at times, our expectations from other people can also be a reason why we tend to experience a lot of stress in our life. This means there is an opportunity for us to adapt, to readjust our expectations from the situation, from the people around us, and most importantly, from ourselves. So we need to learn to adapt. Number four. Now, this might sound a slightly philosophical one, but it's nonetheless a very important tool, and it's called accept. Things that you cannot change, you need to learn to accept it. Which means, for example, if you have a situation in your life which is on a recurring basis and you can't do much about it, you got to learn to accept it because that situation will continue to reoccur. And every time it reoccurs, if you stress out, it's going to have a devastating impact on your mind and your body. So if you can accept the fact that, well, this is a situation, it's going to happen nonetheless, no matter how hard I try. So can I accept it? Now, acceptance doesn't come easy. It takes a lot of mental effort on your part, but it's good for you in the long run. And I'm not talking about accepting every situation. There are situations which are peculiar, where you don't have much of a say. And in spite of your efforts, you might not be able to change the situation completely or eliminate the situation. Acceptance is a good thing to do in that case. It can also work well in some situations which are not very regular. For example, when you're traveling and your flight gets delayed, a lot of people tend to panic and they feel stressed. And the important thing is for you to accept the fact that my flight is late. There is nothing much I can do about it, except the fact that I need to accept the situation. So learning to accept under certain scenarios could be a boon for you in the long run. Last but not the least is to be active. Now, what is the meaning of being active? You got to make sure that you're on the move, both physically and mentally. So identify activities that will help you de-stress. For example, some people love spending time with the nature, going for a trek or going for a walk. Some people enjoy having fun time with their family. Some people enjoy swimming or doing some kind of physical exercise, even gymming for that matter. So identify tasks or activities that will help you be active both physically and mentally. Because when you're active physically and mentally, that becomes a remedy for you to counter stress. And that for you can allow you the time to refresh and rejuvenate yourself. So being active at any stage of your life is a wonderful thing and a great gift that you can offer yourself. Right? So here are the 5 tips again. The first one is to avoid everything that you can which causes unnecessary stress. Number 2 is to alter. Change the situation to the extent possible so that you can minimize or cut down on stress. Number 3 is to adapt. Adjust to the situation by adjusting to your expectations from people or from the situation. But most importantly, readjust expectations from yourself. Number 4 is to accept. What you cannot change, it's important to learn to accept that situation. And last but not the least is to be active. The more active you are physically as well as mentally, it can allow you the opportunity to de-stress and spring back to action every time. So if you try these tips, I'm sure it will help you minimize stress to a great extent in your life. So try these and see how they allow you to de-stress yourself and live a holistic life. Because it's important for us to learn to keep the glass down. If we learn to do that, then perhaps we can live a holistic and a life full of contentment. Thank you.